Hey everyone, welcome back to Solomon's Treasury. I want you to take a deep breath with me for a second. Just pause. Look around. Because if you open your phone, turn on the TV, or scroll through Twitter right now, you're going to be convinced that the sky is literally falling. We are living in an era of headlines designed to spike your cortisol. Market crash imminent, global conflict escalating, currency collapse. It's a barrage of fear. And here is the brutal truth about human psychology. When people are scared, their IQ drops. It's biological. The fight or flight response kicks in, and the logical planning part of the brain shuts off. Most people, the herd, react to this fear in the worst possible way financially. They panic, sell their investments at the bottom. They hoard things they don't need. They freeze up and stop making decisions, or they make rash decisions based on emotion rather than logic. Panic is expensive. I'll say that again. Panic is incredibly expensive. It transfers wealth from the impatient to the patient, from the fearful to the prepared. The patriarchs, the people who build dynastic wealth, do not panic. When the world is running around like a headless chicken, the patriarch sits still. He watches. He observes the chaos not as a threat, but as a shifting of the board. He knows that in every crisis, there is a transfer of energy and money. While everyone else is screaming, he is quietly preparing to catch the opportunities that are falling from the sky. Let's get real about the world we live in. Most of us, especially if we grew up in the West in the last 30 or 40 years, suffer from a massive bias. We think that stability is the default setting of the universe. We think that grocery stores are always full, gas is always cheap, and peace is permanent. But if you open a history book, and I mean really read it, you'll see that stability is actually the exception. The default state of human history is volatility. Empires rise, empires fall. Currencies are created, and currencies are destroyed. Wars happen. The Patriarch Method starts by shattering the illusion that things will just go back to normal. Maybe they won't, and that's okay. The problem isn't the crisis. The problem is your expectation that a crisis shouldn't happen. If you build your financial house on the sand, expecting sunny days forever, the first hurricane will wipe you out. But if you accept that storms are part of nature, you build on rock, you build differently. You stop relying on systems that are fragile and start building systems that are robust. This isn't about being a pessimist or a doomer. It's actually the ultimate form of optimism. It's saying, no matter what happens, war, recession, inflation, I have built a structure that will keep my family safe and my wealth intact. So what is this patriarch concept? It has nothing to do with age, and it has nothing to do with gender. It's an archetype, it's a mindset. The patriarch is the person in the room who keeps their head when everyone else is losing theirs. Think about the captain of a ship in a massive storm. If the captain starts screaming and crying, the crew mutinies and the ship sinks. The captain has to be the rock. To protect your money, you must first protect your mind. You need emotional discipline. When the stock market drops 20% in a week, the amateur feels physical pain. The patriarch looks at the numbers dispassionately and asks, is the thesis broken or is this a sale? When war breaks out, the amateur thinks, we're all going to die. The patriarch thinks, how does this affect supply chains, energy prices, and currency value? How do I position myself? We are going to walk through the tactical steps of money management today, but none of it works if you are driven by fear. You need to decide right now that you are going to be the rock for your family, your community, and your future self. If you are ready to stop reacting to the news and start acting with purpose, if you want to join the few who thrive while others merely survive, make sure you are following Solomon's Treasury. Hit that follow button. We are building something different here. There is a saying, history doesn't repeat itself, but it often rhymes. If you think what we are seeing today, inflation, money printing, geopolitical tension, is new, You need to look back at Rome. You need to look at the Weimar Republic. You need to look at revolutionary France. Every single time a major power gets into a conflict or a deep crisis, the playbook is exactly the same. Governments have bills to pay. Wars are expensive. Social programs are expensive. When they can't pay for these things with taxes, they turn to the printing press. In Rome, they physically clipped the edges off silver coins or diluted the silver content to make more coins. Today, central banks just type extra zeros into a computer. The mechanism is different, but the result is identical. The currency in your pocket loses value. This is a historical constant. Knowing this gives you a superpower. You stop trusting the number in your bank account and start looking at what that number can actually buy. The Patriarch studies history, so he isn't surprised by the present. He knows that fiat currency, paper money, always returns to its intrinsic value eventually, which is zero. He plans accordingly. Let's talk about the silent thief. Most people think inflation is just prices going up. They think the greedy grocery store owner raised the price of milk. That's not what's happening. What's happening is that your money is going down. It's a crucial shift in perspective. Imagine you are standing on a ruler and someone cuts an inch off the ruler. You didn't get taller, the ruler got shorter. That is inflation. During a crisis, this process accelerates. Governments print money to keep the system afloat. This floods the economy with cash, chasing the same amount of goods. The Patriarch understands that holding large amounts of cash during a crisis is like trying to hold ice cubes in a sauna. It feels solid at first, but it is constantly melting away. Every day you hold excess fiat currency during high inflation, you are literally losing hours of your labor. You worked hard for that money, but the system is siphoning its value away while you sleep. The strategy, therefore, is not to hoard paper, but to convert that melting ice into something that can withstand the heat. War and major geopolitical crises are the ultimate disruptors. We live in a globalized world. Your phone was made in Asia, your car parts in Europe, your coffee from South America. This is a delicate web. When conflict starts, that web snaps. We saw a preview of this in 2020, but a major conflict makes it 10 times worse. When supply chains break, cash becomes secondary to access. You might have $1 million in the bank, but if there are no computer chips, you can't buy a new laptop. If there is no wheat, bread prices skyrocket regardless of your net worth. The Patriarch Method recognizes that wealth isn't just a number on a screen. It's the ability to get what you need. In times of war, the flow of capital changes direction. It moves from speculative tech stocks and luxury goods into commodities, energy, and defense. It moves from the wants to the needs. If your portfolio is 100% invested in things that people only buy when they are happy and rich, you are vulnerable. You need exposure to the ugly, boring things that people must buy to survive. I want to hear from you. Have you noticed shrinkflation lately? You know, when the price stays the same but the package gets smaller. Tell me in the comments which product shocked you the most recently. Let's do a mental exercise. Open your banking app. Look at that number. Now, realize that money isn't actually there. It's a digital ledger entry. It's a promise. The bank is saying, "We promise to give you this money if you ask for it." But what happens if everyone asks for it at the same time? That's a bank run. What happens if the power grid goes down? What happens if there is a cyber attack? We live in a world of counterparty risk. Your wealth depends on someone else keeping their promise. In a stable world, this is fine. In a crisis, promises get broken. The Patriarch hates counterparty risk. He wants self-custody. He wants assets that don't rely on a CEO, a politician, or a server farm to exist. If you don't hold it, you don't own it. This is the difference between being a creditor to a bankrupt system and being the owner of real value. We need to move a portion of our wealth out of the digital cloud and back onto the solid earth. This brings us to the most ancient form of wealth protection, precious metals, gold and silver. Solomon spoke of them. Kings have hoarded them for 5,000 years. Why? Because they are the only form of money that is not someone else's liability. Gold can't go bankrupt. Silver doesn't default. Now let me be clear. Gold is not a get-rich-quick scheme. It's not Bitcoin. It's not a tech stock. It's boring. It sits there and does nothing. But that is exactly what you want it to do. It is wealth insurance. Think of gold as a financial bunker. When the currency collapses, when the stock market crashes, when the geopolitical situation explodes, gold tends to hold its purchasing power. An ounce of gold bought a nice toga in Roman times, a nice suit in the 1920s, and a nice suit today. It preserves your energy. In the Patriarch Method, we recommend having a percentage of your net worth in physical metals. Coins or bars you can hold in your hand, not a piece of paper that says you own gold, the real thing. Because in a crisis, if you can't touch it, it might not be yours. Beyond metals, we have to talk about utility. What is utility? It means usefulness. Does the asset do something? Cryptocurrencies have their place, stocks have their place, but in a true end-of-the-world scenario, you can't live inside a Bitcoin. You can't eat a stock certificate. The ultimate hard asset is land, productive land. A place where you can grow food, access water, or just have a roof over your head that the bank can't take away, if it's paid off. Real estate is tricky because it's illiquid. It's hard to sell quickly, but it provides a basic human need, shelter. The patriarch looks at his portfolio and asks, if the economy stops tomorrow, do I have a place to sleep? Do I have a way to feed my family? This might mean owning a rental property, it might mean having a small plot of land outside the city, or it might just mean owning your own home free and clear of debt. Debt is a shackle during a crisis. Ownership is freedom. Let's get a poll going in the comments. If you had $10,000 right now to protect for the next 10 years, would you buy gold, Bitcoin, or land? I'm really curious to see where your heads are at. Now I know I just spent 10 minutes telling you that cash is trash and inflation is eating it. But here is the paradox of the Patriarch Method. You still need cash. You need liquidity. Why? Because crisis creates the greatest buying opportunities in history. When the market crashes, when people are panicked, they sell valuable assets for pennies on the dollar. They sell their businesses, their homes, their art, their stocks, just to get liquidity. If you are the person with the liquidity, you are the king. This is how the great banking families of the 19th and 20th centuries made their fortunes. They held cash when everyone else was leveraged. Then, when the crash happened, they swept in and bought the world at a discount. You need a war chest. This is a pile of cash, or short-term treasuries, that is sitting on the sidelines, waiting for the blood in the streets. You endure the inflation on this cash, because the option value of being able to buy cheap assets is worth the cost. It's not savings, it's ammunition. You have heard of diversification. Don't put all your eggs in one basket. Standard advice. But the patriarch takes it a step further. We are talking about jurisdictional diversification. Imagine if you lived in Russia in 1917, or Germany in 1930, or Venezuela in 2010. Having a diversified stock portfolio didn't help you if it was all in that one country. If your job, your house, your bank account, and your investments are all in the same country and the same currency, you have a single point of failure. I know this sounds advanced, but in the digital age, it's easier than ever. Can you have a bank account in a different currency? Can you own an international stock fund? Can you have a Plan B passport or residency? The goal is to disconnect your personal survival from the fate of a single government's bad decisions. If the ship goes down, you want to be on a lifeboat, not chained to the mast. This is the mindset shift that separates the wealthy from the worried. The wealthy know that wealth is never destroyed. It is merely transferred. During the Great Depression, The factories didn't disappear, the land didn't vanish, the oil didn't evaporate. The ownership just changed hands. The Patriarch Method is about positioning yourself to be on the receiving end of that transfer. It sounds ruthless, but it's actually a service. When the market is in freefall, there are no buyers. By stepping in and buying, you are providing stability to the market. You are providing liquidity to someone who desperately needs it. But you can only do this if you have prepared beforehand. While the world is crying crisis, you need to be whispering opportunity. You need to have your watch list ready. What companies do you want to own? What real estate do you want to buy? Know the price you want to pay, and when the chaos hits, strike without hesitation. Be honest with me, if the housing market crashed 40% tomorrow, would you be terrified, or would you be excited to finally buy? Drop your answer below. The financial gurus on TV will tell you, save 3 to 6 months of expenses in a savings account. That's fine for a lost job or a broken car. It is not enough for a systemic crisis or war. The Patriarch Method demands the Emergency Fund 2.0. This isn't just numbers in a bank. This is physical resilience. Think about your personal supply chain. If the trucks stop running for 2 weeks, what do you eat? If the power goes out, how do you stay warm? A deep pantry filled with non-perishable food is an investment. If you buy a bag of rice today for $10, and next year, due to inflation, it costs $20, you just made a 100% tax-free return on your money. That is better than the stock market. Your generator, your water filters, your medical supplies, these are part of your net worth. They are tangible assets that protect you from price spikes and scarcity. Stop looking at prepping as a crazy fringe hobby and start looking at it as practical logistical insurance for your household firm. Let's strip it all away. Let's say the banks fail, the currency resets, and you lose all your assets. What do you have left? You have you, your skills, your knowledge, your ability to solve problems. In a chaotic world, competence is the ultimate currency. The patriarch invests heavily in himself. Can you fix things? Can you grow food? Can you negotiate deals? Can you lead people? Can you provide medical care? These are hard skills, but don't forget the soft skills: adaptability, resilience, persuasion. In a severe economic depression, the person who can sell or the person who can repair machinery will always eat. The person who only knows how to enter data into a spreadsheet that no longer exists, they are in trouble. Invest in books, courses, and practical experiences. Become dangerous, become useful. If you are useful, you will always have an income. We live in an era of hyper-individualism. I can do it myself. But historically, lone wolves die, tribes survive. The patriarch understands that his network is his safety net. Who are the 5 people you would call if the world fell apart? Do you trust them? Do they have skills you lack? Maybe you are good with security, but your neighbor is a doctor. Maybe your brother is a mechanic. You need to build strong, localized relationships. This isn't just about friendship, it's about strategic alliance. In a crisis, barter returns. Communities that work together, sharing resources, security, and information, thrive. Communities that are fragmented fall apart. Start building those bridges now. Host a dinner, help a neighbor, build the social capital that will pay dividends when the ATM stops working. I'm challenging you guys. What is one skill you have that isn't related to your current desk job? Can you hunt? Can you weld? Do you know first aid? Brag about it in the comments. We have covered a lot of ground today. Gold, land, pantries, skills. But the most important asset is the one between your ears. You have to defeat the enemy of fear. The media is a machine designed to keep you in a state of paralysis. They sell ads by selling anxiety. The patriarch disconnects from the matrix. You need to go on a low-information diet. Stop doom scrolling at 2 a.m. It doesn't help you prepare, it just drains your energy. Adopt a stoic mindset. Focus entirely on what you can control. your spending, your saving, your preparation, your attitude, and completely accept what you cannot control: geopolitics, the Federal Reserve, the weather. This mental firewall allows you to make rational decisions when everyone else is making emotional ones. That clarity is your edge. I want to leave you with a message of hope. Crises end. They always do. The Black Plague ended. The World Wars ended. The Great Depression ended. And what followed? Massive periods of growth, innovation, and prosperity. The goal of the Patriarch Method isn't just to survive the winter. It's to be ready for the spring. You are protecting your capital now so that you can deploy it when the sun comes out. You are preserving your legacy for your children and grandchildren. Think about the stories they will tell about you. Will they say, "Grandpa panicked and sold everything"? Or will they say, "Grandpa was the rock, he kept us safe, and he built the foundation for the life we have today"? Keep your eyes on the horizon. The storm is temporary, the legacy is forever. Knowledge without action is just entertainment. I don't want you to just nod your head and click on the next video. I want you to do something. Today, start small. Maybe you go out and buy your first silver coin just to feel the weight of real money. Maybe you buy an extra week's worth of canned goods for the pantry. Maybe you finally have that conversation with your spouse about a budget. Maybe you read one chapter of a book on investing. Momentum is powerful. The patriarch acts. He doesn't wait for permission, and he doesn't wait for the perfect moment. The perfect moment to prepare was 10 years ago. The second best moment is right now. Take the first step. Build your fortress. If this video sparked something in you, if it gave you a new perspective on how to handle the chaos of the world, please do me a huge favor. Smash that like button. It tells the algorithm that this is important information that people need to hear. If you haven't already, subscribe to Solomon's Treasury and hit that notification bell. We are building a community of wise builders here, and I don't want you to miss the next lesson. Share this with a friend or family member who needs to hear this message. Stay calm, stay prepared, and stay wise. I'll see you in the next one.